A criminal organization allegedly stole the identities of 1 million Americans, submitted $10.6 billion in fake Medicare claims for catheters nobody ordered, used artificial intelligence to forge recordings of patients consenting to equipment they never heard of, and laundered the money through 6 countries in cryptocurrency before anyone noticed. $10.6 billion, the largest Medicare fraud case in the history of the United States Department of Justice. Not millions, billions, with a B. And the people behind it? They reportedly operated from the other side of the world. This is Operation Gold Rush, and according to federal prosecutors, it touched every single state in America. Here's how it allegedly worked. In the world of Medicare, there's a category called durable medical equipment, DME, wheelchairs, oxygen tanks, urinary catheters, the kind of supplies that get shipped to elderly patients and billed directly to the federal government. The system runs on trust. A doctor writes a prescription, a supplier fills the order, Medicare pays the bill. And for decades, that trust has been exploited. But nobody had ever exploited it like this. According to the indictment, the organization allegedly obtained the personal information of more than 1 million Medicare beneficiaries across all 50 states. Names, dates of birth, Medicare numbers, addresses, everything you need to file a claim. Then they reportedly set up dozens of fake medical equipment companies, shell companies. No warehouses, no inventory, no employees, just paperwork and a billing number. And they allegedly began submitting claims for urinary catheters. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Catheters that were never manufactured, never shipped, never delivered to a single patient. But they needed one thing to make it look real: patient consent. Medicare requires an audio recording of the patient agreeing to receive the equipment. So according to prosecutors, they used artificial intelligence to generate fake audio recordings, AI voices, allegedly designed to sound like real patients saying yes to medical equipment they'd never heard of. Think about that. A machine pretending to be your grandmother, saying yes to a medical order she never made, so that someone on the other side of the world could bill the United States government for supplies that don't exist. Now let me tell you about 2 of the people whose identities were allegedly stolen. Harold Devereaux, 81 years old, Korean War veteran, living alone in a small house outside of Memphis. According to court documents, his Medicare number was used to bill for over $14,000 in catheter supplies he never received, never ordered, never knew about. Harold reportedly found out when his real doctor's office called to ask why his Medicare benefits were nearly exhausted for equipment he'd never seen. And then there's Maria Santos, 74, a retired school teacher in Albuquerque. According to the indictment, her identity was used to place orders from 3 separate shell companies in the same month, over $22,000 billed in her name. When investigators reached her, she was living on Social Security and had never heard of any of the companies. She allegedly told agents she thought someone had made a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. 1 million Americans, and Harold and Maria were just 2 of them. But wait! It gets worse. The man who allegedly orchestrated the entire operation is named Imam Nakhmatullayev, a Russian national. According to prosecutors, he built and ran the criminal network from overseas. He is currently a fugitive, believed to be in Russia, beyond the reach of American law enforcement. No verified photographs of the defendants have been released by the DOJ, FBI, or any credible public source. The individuals behind this scheme remain largely faceless, which may be exactly how they designed it. But the network reportedly stretched deep into American soil. A Czech national named Kevin Valdhens allegedly operated approximately 30 fake medical equipment companies out of Brooklyn. 30 companies. According to prosecutors, he obtained a fraudulent Texas identification card and used it to register businesses, open bank accounts, and submit Medicare claims. A man from the Czech Republic, allegedly pretending to be a Texan, running 30 shell companies out of a Brooklyn storefront. And then there's the banker, Renat Abramov, 36 years old, a dual citizen of the United States and Azerbaijan, a banker at Bank of America. According to the indictment, Abramov allegedly used his position inside the bank to launder more than $8 million in fraud proceeds. He reportedly processed transactions he knew were fraudulent, moved money through accounts designed to obscure its origin, and helped the organization wash its stolen funds through the American banking system. He became the first bank employee in United States history to be convicted of laundering healthcare fraud proceeds. The first, ever. His sentencing is scheduled for April 20th, 2026. And the money didn't stay in America. According to prosecutors, the proceeds were allegedly funneled through China, Singapore, Pakistan, Israel, Turkey, and converted into cryptocurrency, a web of international transactions designed to make the money untraceable. 11 defendants sit at the core of this case. 8 Estonian nationals, 1 Russian, 1 Czech, 1 American, a transnational criminal organization that allegedly treated the American healthcare system like an open vault. Now here's the system failure beat. How did this happen? Medicare processes over 1 billion claims per year. The system is largely automated. Claims come in, payments go out, and for years, the fraud prevention systems reportedly could not keep pace with the volume. Medicare did eventually flag the activity. They blocked $4.45 billion in fraudulent claims. But by the time the gates closed, $41 million had already been paid by Medicare, and $900 million had reportedly been paid out by supplemental insurance carriers who followed Medicare's lead. Nearly $1 billion. Gone. Because the system trusted the paperwork. But this case broke open because of one man who refused to look the other way. Jonathan Vaz, a legitimate medical equipment business owner in Fort Lauderdale. According to reports, Vaz sold his DME company to Kevin Valdhans, a routine business transaction, or so he thought. Within 1 week, Vaz reportedly noticed that the company he'd just sold had billed Medicare for $7 to $8 million in catheters. In 1 week, Vaz reportedly contacted authorities. That tip allegedly became one of the threads that unraveled the entire network. One honest businessman, one phone call, against a $10.6 billion machine. On June 30th, 2025, the Department of Justice announced Operation Gold Rush, the largest healthcare fraud takedown in American history. 324 defendants across 50 federal districts. The core case, these 11 defendants, accused of the single largest Medicare fraud scheme ever prosecuted. And the alleged mastermind, Imam Nekmatullah, is believed to be sitting in Russia, free, unreachable, while 1 million Americans are left wondering what happened to their identities, and a retired teacher in Albuquerque is still trying to get her Medicare benefits restored. One investigator close to the case reportedly said something that stuck. They didn't just steal money, they stole trust. They made the system doubt every legitimate patient who actually needs a catheter to live with dignity. And that might be the worst part of all. Because the next time an 81-year-old veteran in Memphis calls Medicare for supplies he actually needs, the system that's supposed to help him is going to hesitate. Because of a criminal organization that allegedly used artificial intelligence to pretend to be him, submitted $10.6 billion in fake claims, and laundered the money through 6 countries before anyone picked up the phone. Subscribe for new case every day at The Reckoning Files.